106.7 KROQ, it's KROQ. I'm Megan Holiday, backstage at Cal Jam, and I have Allison and Jamie of The Kills with me. How are you?
Good,
Hi, we're very well.
Good, it's so good to see you.
And you?
And, you've been a band for 16 years now, I believe.
Yes.
And maybe for people who don't know the story about how you two met, could you just give a little refresher?
Yes. so long ago. Well, Alison was in a band called Discount, and they were touring in London, and they were staying in the apartment below where I lived. And I was just upstairs playing guitar and stuff, and she'd kind of listen to me playing, and then get a bit more brave, and then sit outside my window, and then get a bit more brave, and just kind of sit there all day eavesdropping. And then get a bit weird, and then knock on my window, and then I invited her in, and then we became friends.
Aren't you thankful?
Yeah.
That was that weird?
We started off, it was just like a sort of two-person social club. I'd play her loads of records and, show her books that I was reading and films and stuff. And then, I don't know, before we knew it, we were just writing songs.
Yeah.
Weird songs to start with.
So it was like an instant click where you guys were just kind of dialed in with one another?
I was just so fascinated by him, and would you like me to hold it?
Yeah.
Because it's weird if you just like hold it under me like that's weird. I was just totally fascinated by him. I mean, the way he was playing guitar was so interesting to me. It was like something I'd never heard before. And he really encouraged me. The first thing he did really was give me a 4-track to take on tour with me because I was in the middle of a tour, and encouraged me to write songs and just record stuff and see what I could make on a tape.
So you were just kind of like singing into things?
I was just like talking and recording radio and recording people playing drums and like cutting all this stuff together and making these weird sound collages that I thought were, hit songs.
Yeah.
So they were crazy.
When you start out, when you're a musician to start with, you always have this thing where people sort of say, oh, you're a guitar player, we should be in a band, we should do stuff. And it happens so much and so little ever comes of it that it requires like a really bold move of faith to really sort of seal the commitment. And Alison was determined that we were going to be a band, to the point where she moved over from Florida to London in the house opposite me, in tune with the stalking vibe, and that was it. Like no one had ever done that to me. I was kind of like down on my luck a little bit, really. My band we'd been dropped from a label, and I was doing my own solo thing, and it was like such a crazy commitment and leap of faith that it was like I'd have been an idiot not to have taken it,
Definitely. I really like that story. I don't know. I read it and I was like, I just want to hear them tell it. You know what I mean? So I know you've been touring for Ash and Ice, which came out last year.
Yeah.
And, something that I did kind of want to touch on was that you had your injury where you slammed your middle finger in the car door and basically had to relearn how to play your guitar.
Yeah, I mean, it started off quite straightforward. I slammed my finger in a car door and crushed it. But I was trying to get it fixed again so I could play guitar, and I had a hand specialist who injected me with cortisone, and then I happily sort of went away to Morocco for a week to recuperate, and it just went crazy. I got a deep bone infection. I was like 20 hours away from losing my finger.
Oh my God.
And then it was a year and a half, 6 operations. I couldn't believe it. It's like, it was quite staggering really for something fairly simple to end up something kind of crushingly complicated.
Was there ever a moment for either of you where you thought this might be over?
I think in the middle of something like that, you refuse to let yourself think that way.
Also, we were quite
the opposite, kind of.
We were quite resilient. Like right from the start, we always said, we want the Kills to be a lifelong thing, and we want it to be everything and anything. We want to adapt to survive, and even if it meant becoming like a sort of art group or like a filmmaking co-op or something, it didn't really matter. We were really inspired by that kind of New York scene, the Velvet Underground, where it was all sort of, you couldn't really talk about the music without talking about film and art and all those sort of things. So we kind of wanted it to be that. So as soon as this happened, our brains started working about how we could adapt the Kills to be something.
Like work around it and make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you did this stripped down record or EP, Echo Home, the non-electric EP.
Yeah.
I listened to it this morning because I didn't even know it came out, and I should know these things. And it was so beautiful. And it has this one of the tracks has one of these like really just bluesy feels to it, and I just want to know like why you kind of decided, hey, let's strip it down and do something a little different.
Well, because that's kind of how we write, so a lot of the songs, thank you. So a lot of the songs that you hear on the record, they all were many of them were born that way, especially the ones that I write. They're always just an acoustic guitar and a voice. And it's like this whole battle afterwards to electrify it, to change the tempo, to do, put other instrumentation on it. So I don't know. I think the birthplace of a song is really beautiful and special, and we just wanted to record them for people.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. I really like it a lot. So what do you two have planned for like the next few months, or looking forward?
Well, we've just been on tour for over 18 straight months, and so
goodness.
We've got a bunch of shows this week, and then. I hope the weather starts getting colder outside and we'll want to stay inside and write music. And I just would really like to write and paint until I'm needed again.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you both reside in LA or?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I do sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, very cool.
I'm mostly in Nashville.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming and chatting.
Thanks for having us, and thanks for having air conditioning.
You got it. The Kills, it's KROQ.